Wow, thank you so much. Right on. Wow. Well, thank you so much for that warm welcome to the stage. It feels really great to be here today, guys. So thank you so much for coming to Vegas and making that sacrifice. And so first off, what I want to do is I want to thank Mr. and Mrs. Stonecipher for their leadership. And they have really taught us what leading from the front really means. They have absolutely, unequivocally earned their freedom, yet on a daily basis, they continue to fight for ours. So thank you, Mr. and Mrs. Stonecipher, for showing us the way. We appreciate you. For those of you that I have not had a chance to meet yet, my name is Hunter Gray. I was born and raised on the East Coast in New Jersey. And heck yeah, Jersey! Definitely. And I graduated from Yale University in 2005 with a degree in psychology and a degree in economics. And I promised my dad that I wasn't going to use them. And so, as you can imagine, he was pretty excited about the $120,000 receipt hanging on my wall. And moved out to California to pursue film and television. I didn't want the corporate lifestyle that some of my sisters had and my dad had. I wanted a little bit more freedom, and before I ended up doing that path, which I thought I would inevitably do, I would start off by trying film and television. But when I got to California, I found out that I wasn't the only one. And I found out that auditions don't pay you, and celebrities get to do the acting. And so I found myself struggling financially and creatively, and then I met a gentleman named Jesse McPherson. And Jesse McPherson single-handedly changed my life by sharing with me an opportunity that I may or may not have been interested in. And I came to a business briefing where I saw the big picture and I caught the vision. And I realized that if I could master this business, I could have anything that I wanted because this business would would be a vehicle for me to get whatever I wanted. So I became a student of network marketing. And I found out that this business is about two things: recruiting and leadership. And I've been fortunate because I knew I wanted to be a great leader, but before I could be a great leader, I first needed to become a great follower. And I wanted to master recruiting, so I wanted to be a great player. And all great players have one thing in common: they have great coaches. And so what I want to do right now is thank some of those coaches that helped me get here after my 2-year journey. And the first coach I want to thank is Jesse McPherson. Thank you for teaching me how to recruit. And the reason why I know how to recruit is because you recruited me properly. And he taught me posture. And here's my definition of posture for those of you that really want to increase your recruiting numbers. My definition of posture is knowing that where I'm going is better than where you're going, and I'm going with or without you. And it's a mentality of I'm committed to your success, but I'm not attached to what you decide to do. And so moving forward, learning recruiting, I began to learn that this business was really about leadership. And John C. Maxwell says that everything rises and falls on leadership. And so I began to model my mentors. And again, great coaches came into my life. And I met a gentleman, Coach Josh Denny. And Josh Denny taught me that you need to build relationships. And you want to run for money, not necessarily for position. And for those of you that are running for the ring, I'll have you know that in my 12-month ring run, only 1 month was I higher ranked than executive director. I was 1 month as a bronze. I stand before you today as a gold executive organization, not because of my achievements, but because of the achievements of the executives on my team that duplicated the efforts from the coaches that I learned from. And I wanted to recognize Steve Nick, George Larios, and Jonathan Conrad for allowing me to stand on your shoulders. You are the giants whose shoulders I stand on. And I look forward to you guys earning your ring in 2009. And I was able to meet a gentleman named Mark Smith, Coach Smith. And he taught me that if you start building teams, you need to be able to replace yourself. And I started to learn from him that leadership is time. Leadership creates time. And at first when I began to listen to this and understand this, I didn't really understand how leadership created time. In my life, I had never understood that you could create time. But what I realized was if you're not teaching someone to do what you're currently doing, you will always have to do what you're currently doing. And so I began to realize that teaching creates time once you realize that leadership is teaching. And so what I did was I started teaching my team and really investing, because recruiting is staffing your organization, but leadership is developing your organization. And so I began developing my organization and the legs that I had, and they began to replace what I was doing. They began to do the things that I had formerly been doing, which freed up time for me. And I was able to go create more organizations or go spend time with those that I cared about, like my family, my loved ones. And for me, I realized that working with Mr. Smith and being in Hawaii and being on a trip with him, it wasn't so much I wanted to do what the Platinums and the Ring Earners were doing in prepaid legal. It was that I needed to start thinking like the Platinums thought, the way that they thought. And that's why I realized this isn't a company that sells legal service plans and identity theft plans that stresses personal development. This is a personal development company that has a fantastic compensation plan. And when you really take in personal development as your thing, as like your calling, that you will personally grow, that's when this business becomes fun, because as you grow, challenges just knock right off you. They don't even touch you. And you can overcome anything. We're professional problem solvers. And the more you grow, the bigger the problem. It doesn't even seem like it's a problem to you anymore. And so I began doing that. And what I found out in this business, guys, is if you guys can just sack up and take care of business, your business will take care of you forever. But most people want to make a withdrawal prior to making a deposit. But it doesn't work that way. And what I found out was in this business, your power comes from your patience. It's something very challenging. Most people overestimate what they can do in 3 months, but wildly underestimate what they can achieve in 3 years. And so what I share with you guys is, if you can understand delayed gratification, you can have anything that you want in this business as long as you find a good coach who can teach you to become a great player. And if you start figuring out that you don't want to become a student of this industry, but eventually become a teacher of this industry, that's when time freedom and financial freedom will be yours. And with that, guys, I'll see you at the top. I'll see you guys at 7 figures.